Can see me. So if you are here listening in, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by on your lunch to watch this. I'll drop some golden nuggets of info for you. Could you please put your name in the comment section below so I know you're here and I know you're watching. I've got a couple people here and I'd love to know. Here we go. Hi, Janine. Thank you for joining. And thanks for joining the group as well. All right, so what I'm going to do is just give a little bit of, hey, Tracy, give a little bit of a review. So today the goal is I'm going to be talking about what 24 hours and perimenopause have in common. Hi, Jennifer. Nice to see you here. And beyond that, I'm also going to be talking about the one big lie that is keeping many women from shifting the weight, losing the belly fat, getting their energy back, and all of that stuff that we would really love to experience in our midlife and anytime, of course. So again, if you're just joining me, please put your name in the comment section. If you're watching this on a replay, I'd like to request that you type replay in the comments to let me know that you've seen this. So let's start with a little bit of a question. So why do some women seem to be able to enjoy a flatter tummy and avoid significant weight gain, have all the energy, and they seem to sort of float through perimenopause, while other women are struggling with the belly fat, exhaustion, discomfort, and even poor sleeps? Many times it is all because of this one dangerous lie that we have been led to believe and may still be believing. So again, if you're watching on the live, let me know you're here. Type in your name, or if you're watching on the replay, just type replay. And for those of you who are live here, okay, watching this now, just comment a lie in the comments section, because we're going to talk a little bit more about what this dangerous lie is. So I'm really excited to see everybody here today. And I know that quite often we start to feel almost defeated. I know personally, I'll share my story in a little bit, that we feel almost like uncomfortable in our skin, frustrated. There's already decision fatigue going on. Should I do this? Should I do that? What should I do? You go to a bunch of different sources and you get a bunch of different information. And all the while, all you're trying to do is feel better. You would like to see the inches around the waist go down. You would like to have that energy improve. And you'd like to see a result of all of this effort that you're putting into your fitness. All the workouts, all of the eating healthy, all of the right things. Okay. So what do 24 hours and perimenopause have in common? Well, before I go there, okay, I am going to talk about the dangerous lie that is keeping us from doing the right things and contributing to repeating the wrong things when it comes to losing that belly fat. And so in my How to Reduce Belly Fat trainings, if you haven't watched them and you would like me to send you the link, please comment, send link below, and I'll send it to you if you haven't already seen it. But I talked about visceral belly fat and why that more dangerous fat is the kind I generally tend to refer to versus the subcutaneous fat, which is the kind you can pinch with your finger. Visceral belly fat is the more dangerous kind, and that is the kind I spend most of my time helping women to shift and reduce because of those potential health consequences down the road. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this training, I will begin to start sharing some action steps with you, but I'm going to share some stories first and then get to what is this one big lie. If you have any ideas about what that one big lie is, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to know what it is that you guys think. Okay, so I'm going to break down that correlation and I'm going to share a story with you. So I'm going to share the story about me because I know myself well. I should after almost 49 years. And so let's go back, rewind a couple of years. And so I was a brand new mom. I had my daughter at 43. And in the first couple of years, I found myself up until about a year and a half ago, a year ago, I found myself exhausted, lots of mind fog. Many of you might be able to relate. I was parenting a young child while also running a business. And some of you may not run the business. You may have a job, whether that's part-time or full-time. That is 2 full-time jobs with parenting. I was doing it on my own because my partner works out of town over half of the time and still does. I had mood swings, poor sleeps, crazy cravings, and I never felt satisfied, even after I would eat. When I woke up in the morning, literally, guys, it was as if I couldn't wait to get back into bed. I would wake up in the morning, counting down the hours. Okay, I get through this and then I can go back to bed. I was doing what I thought I should be doing, but I was also starting to feel like an imposter, not only in my body, but in my life. And I work in fitness. So for all of these things to be happening and me feeling like so out of control, so what do? I knew the right things to do. Nothing seemed to be working. I thought I should know better into how to fix my health. So I started getting really weird things happening. The first tip was I started getting weight in really weird places that I had never had it before. Different type of fat. For my example, my upper arms. I never had it in my belly. That started to come. And it was more than just the new mom belly. And if you've had a child, you know what new mom belly feels like and looks like. I was, of course, really, really fatigued all the time. And I just couldn't seem to get that energy back. My sleeps weren't the best either, of course, as a parent, or if you just have a busy life. One of the first things that we seem to let go is our sleep first. So there were also some stress happening in this time. So the biggest stress was obviously my mom was very ill and she was battling terminal cancer. She has left this world now, but is everywhere. As that was happening, I was drinking too much wine. Like I said, I had a partner who was gone over half the time, so that was all on me when he was gone. When he was home, he snored and kept me up all night long, so I wasn't getting good sleeps. And then, of course, 2020 happened, and that entire year was basically one big stress ball. You get the picture. So what did I do? I tried to work out more. In January, I started a 5-day-a-week workout plan, and I went back to what used to work for me. I worked out hard 4 to 5 days a week. I got myself a friend, my neighbor partner. We worked out together. Usually our workouts were about an hour, and at the end of them, we were sweating hard. We were like a pile of mush on the floor. Some of them were longer than an hour, and we did that Monday through Friday, sometimes a day on the weekends. And I started to try to look a little bit more at what I was eating, how much I was eating, tried to swap in a little bit more salad instead of some of the treats, but I was still getting late night cravings, and I wasn't drinking the wine by that time. So that was positive. I was drinking coffee still, but what was happening was I was working out more, and it was great for about a month. I was crushing the workouts. I felt stronger, and that was great for about a month. And then what happened? Instead of crushing it, I crashed. I was sore all the time. And for me, the most devastating was I was working so hard and I was not seeing any change in muscle tone. I was actually getting more belly fat, not less. I was feeling bigger, more bloated, and my moods were even crankier. And I know that my neighbor Jess, who's my friend who worked out with me, she had to listen to a lot of my rants and raves. So I was doing all these things, but it wasn't helping. In fact, it was actually exacerbating a situation that was happening that I wasn't even aware of. So if you can relate to any of that, to trying to work out more, to watching what you eat, because that's what we've been taught, but yet nothing changed in midlife, in perimenopause, in your 40s or 50s, just type in relate in the comment section, because I do think that many of us can relate to this, okay? And this is coming from someone who has spent, at that time, 29 years in health and fitness full-time, and it kind of threw me for a loop. So if it throws you for a loop, or you've been there and done that, or know someone who has, let me know. So I was always sore, wasn't seeing the muscle tone, my mood was plummeting, I still wasn't sleeping better. Instead, I just felt more flabby, more irritated, more frustrated, and I was sore all the time. Tracy, truth, right? And Janine can relate as well. Janine, interesting. I don't want to pinpoint you, Janine, but Janine has a very interesting story. Maybe I'll bring her on one day to share, because she's got a really cool story of how she went from, I believe it was almost a full adrenal fatigue burnout, to optimizing her health as well. So if you can relate to any of this, please drop relate below, or yes, I relate. So some of you know people like this as well. So there had to be a better way. There had to be a better way. And I spent a year deep diving, researching, looking into what really happens with women. And there's one keyword, I'll drop it quick. And I started looking at how I could improve, so not only my health, but then apply that to help others. Because this one big lie, ladies, this dangerous lie that is keeping us with the belly that won't go away. Some of you call it the pooch. How many of you have the pooch? If you've got the pooch, or type pooch. Hey, Melanie, you're live, girl. I'm live. Yeah. If you have the pooch and nothing you do is working, type in pooch. So anyways, I took a deep dive and I got myself more knowledge, more education, became certified as an advanced hormone-based exercise specialist for women in midlife. And I began to apply those principles to myself. And the results have been literally life-changing and aesthetically body transforming. All right, because it was not a fun time. I was a very depressed person. Many days I wanted to crawl into a hole. And yes, life is about so much more than the shape of your body, ladies. I totally understand that. It is why I promote body image positivity. But when you feel so uncomfortable, tired, hopeless, you don't have the energy, the sleeps are crap, you are fighting something that you don't even know. And what that is, those are hormones, okay? So no matter all of the things you do, the biggest lie that we have been told is one big lie: just exercise and eat well. Just do a little bit more. You must not be doing enough. Put on a smile. This too will pass. Do more. Try to eat good. Exercise and food, right? Wrong. They are smaller pieces of a bigger pie, ladies, and you can do all those right things and still not be putting a dent into the real boss, okay? So the real thing running the show, which is hormones. And more so than ever in our life as we go through this transition of perimenopause. So of course you all know what it is. I'll just explain. So perimenopause is literally that normal, very normal part of life that takes us, it's the journey from when we go from having our period, I mean, we're all women here, so we can talk freely, having our period to that final day that we have our last period. Okay, so natural perimenopause, when there's no surgical interventions, and we haven't had hysterectomies or anything like that that have brought it on, this is the natural perimenopause. That is what that means. So during this time of our life, the rules change, hormones change. What we think we know about what we should be doing changes. And it is the lie that we need to keep doing more, doing all those things that used to work for us, that is keeping us from experiencing the flatter belly, shifting the weight, seeing the nicer muscles, sleeping better, reducing the mind fog, not feeling like an imposter, feeling good in our body, clothes that fit, etc., etc. Okay? Eating right and exercising have their place. But what is going to work for you is not necessarily what works for your neighbor. So I'm going to pick on keto. If keto works for your neighbor and she's had great success on it, just know that if your hormones and what's happening in your physiology is not the same as your neighbor's, you may not get the same results. So having said that, can everyone just write biggest lie or been there, done that, right? Hormones do run the show. So if any of that sounds like anything you've ever heard, how many of you know someone who believes, it might be you, just to exercise more and try to eat less? You know, maybe cut a few calories, but do some more exercise, all right? How many of you have done that or are doing that? And I know there are some. And it's not like you're doing anything wrong, guys. The fact is, you're not doing anything wrong. Your body is changing. And what you used to believe is no longer working for you. It's the biggest thing I hear. You know what? Nothing is working for me. What used to work no longer does. Over the course of the last year, if you have major stress, major life changes, whether it's a move, a job loss, or a job change, the death of a loved one, the death of a pet, the whole year of 2020 and 2021 and beyond, whatever that might be, guys, all those changes already happening are going to become put under a magnifying glass for you to look at, because they're going to become even that much more illuminated for you. So the biggest lie is that you need to do more, okay, and eat less. Just do more and eat less. The second biggest lie is that it's just something you have to deal with. There's truth to that perimenopause is natural. But the untruth to that is that there's nothing you can do about it, because there is. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture, and I just want you guys to see. So how many of you have ever driven a car? Silly question. We've probably all driven a car. This is a set of traffic lights. Okay, and here's the car. My car is going to be terrible. There's the car with its wheels. Comes up to the traffic light. The traffic light flashes red and says, stop. Who's calling the shots in this picture? Okay, guys, if you're live with me, and I think I got a couple of you still live with me, who's calling the shots? What is calling the shots in this picture? Is it the traffic light? Is it the car? Is it the person in the car? I'd love it if you're watching this on the replay, type whatever you think the answer is. If you're watching this live, I'd love to know who's calling the shots. This is a deeper dive into hormones. So here we go. Most people are going to say, well, the traffic light is calling the shot because the traffic light tells you to stop, so you stop. No. What's really calling the shots is lying underneath the ground in a box somewhere where somebody has programmed what those traffic lights do and when. How long it takes before the traffic light goes from red to green, from green to or yellow to red. Okay, so it's not. Okay, so this would be like the exercise and the food. Okay, gets you to a certain point. What's really happening is what's programmed those traffic lights. Okay, so you're with me? Good, awesome. Janine, thank you guys. Hello, Sandy, you're here. So I love this. You guys all said the traffic light. No, it's the box that runs the traffic light and tells them what to do. And those are our hormones. But good guess. I tricked you. I tricked you, Janine, on purpose. All right, had to spice it up a little more. So what does all this have to do with the 24 hours and perimenopause? So we're going to go even further on this. In 24 hours for most women, okay? Now, I may not be talking about that. Hi, Angela. I may not be talking about that woman who I mentioned earlier doesn't experience any significant weight gain, no visceral fat gain, has great energy and floats through menopause. I'm talking about those of us who may experience the weight gain, the belly that won't go away, the pooch that grows no matter what we do, the frustration with doing all of the right things, walking every day, running, going to the gym, cardio, HIIT, workouts, and we don't see the change. Many of us are busy. How many people, I'm trying to look for a word a replacement for the word busy. I'm thinking I'm very tied up daily doing things I love and serving the world, but it's a little long-winded. How many of you are very busy in a day? We seem to find more things to spend our time on, right? There's always something more to spend our time on, whether it's kids, job, hobbies, whatever it might be, okay? So in one single 24-hour day, that day, ladies, especially in perimenopause, and especially when you've got the stress of what's going on here and trying to fix it, you are living a 24-hour-a-day workout already. This is where I have so much of compassion. We are working out 24 hours a day. If you're not having a good sleep, whether that means you have insomnia or you're waking through the night or you're waking not feeling rested, you're not even getting a break from that 24-hour-a-day workout as you should when you sleep. It's just a perpetual go, 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 right? So for many women, you already have that 24-hour-a-day feeling where your body doesn't know the difference often between, hey, she's in the gym this hour, whether she's go, go, go for the other 18 hours or however long your day is. Okay, so the 24-hour and perimenopause connection is we are doing so much while our hormones in the background are changing. Remember, not the traffic light. Those are the action things. It is what's programming the traffic light. We need to stop, and it's so helpful to start doing maybe a little bit less, okay? And the paradigm, or I guess the belief systems that we have, the conditioning, that big lie that I mentioned, okay, have kept us from really doing the things that will matter the most. So, you know, if you're listening to this live, please type live. If you're listening on the replay, type replay. Perimenopause gives you permission, ladies, to take a sigh, to take a pause, to start doing less instead of more. It's not necessarily about your calories. You could eat the right amount of calories. Guess what? If your hormones are still not being supported the way you need them to be supported, not your neighbor across the street, not, you know, Karen from my last example who does all the cardio, then nothing will change. Or you might get a momentary quick change, which is what I call the phase 1 of change, where you stop eating sugar and you lose 3 pounds, right? That's phase 1. I'm talking phase 2 and phase 3 changes where you want that fat to be what is reduced, where you want the energy to improve long term. And it's looking at your life as if it is a workout in a 24-hour period. If I am already feeling in my cortisol levels, my adrenals, my hormones are already feeling like I'm working out for 24 hours a day, and then I say, work out more, right? Rest less, work out more, and take less rest. And that starts to then impede upon your bedtime, right? Because then the only time you have to catch up might be when the kids go to bed, or when the workday is done, or when everything else that you are juggling in that 24-hour period is done. Then you can go and maybe scroll social media, or watch a movie, or, quite often that is screen time. So where's the time for the sleep? Where's the time for the rest? Where's the time for the quality pause that can take you out of that 24-hour a day workout? Okay. So it's almost like a trap. And I think too, we get very comfortable with that and it becomes our norm. And so it's easy to say, well, this is normal. No, I'm always busy. That's not really contributing because I've always been busy. Until it does contribute in midlife, until it really matters more than it ever has before. And I like to use the analogy of like the smoke that we had that last month. Now, if you live in another part of the world, this won't make sense to you. But we had a lot of forest fires in BC, and where I live, we had literally almost a whole month where you couldn't see the sky for the smoke. So hear me out. I'm going somewhere with this. So once we actually start to peel back some of the things, take the pause, make the space, and do a little less, we can actually then really tune in with what is actually going on with our bodies physiologically, even emotionally, with all those other things, because we've removed the smoke, right? So once the smoke clears, you can see the sky again. But if something's always in the way, whether it's busyness or rushing from here to here to here to here to here, we're never really able to see what is on the other side of that. So if this is making sense, please let me know. Haven't asked you guys for any comments lately, but if it's making sense, just write "makes sense." If you're watching the replay, write "replay." I apologize. I will be wrapping this up soon. I want it to be 25 minutes max. So let's just review then. 24 hours in perimenopause does change. What we do over that 24-hour period of time, our life is basically one endless workout to begin with. It's not about adding more. It's about doing less. It's about taking off some things, dumping stress, changing the way we work out if necessary. And often that is a hard pill to swallow, guys. I get it. I come from a background of CrossFit where it was all about how hard, how much, how many days I could go, which used to work then. Now, totally opposite effect. So if you're in that boat, maybe just write "I relate" again. Share with me maybe what is happening with you. I'd love to hear your comments. But hopefully that makes sense. So that 24-hour day workout, something to just keep in your mind. Are you working out every day for 24 hours, whether that's in the gym or just in life in general, and then expecting to put more on your body and more on your body until your body is finally, if you don't listen to it, going to force you into submission one way or another? Okay, our bodies know best. So let's try and clear the smoke screen, and I'll be back Friday to share some tips on how we can do that, to give you some steps on what you can do to get started. Okay, so ultimately, the crucial role hormones play in that 24-hour a day workout that many of us are already experiencing are huge. So pause and then start to ask yourself, am I hearing my body what it needs? When you get tired at 7 o'clock at night, do you push through that until midnight? Or at 7 o'clock, do you hear that you're getting tired and feel that in your body and start to put those pieces together to go to bed to support that need to sleep? Or are you tuning that out and doing? So that's one thing that you can start to do, is tune in. What is your body telling you? When does it get tired? You can start tracking things for yourself as well, and I'll get more into that on Friday. And basically what you can do is to start giving yourself permission to do a little bit less. So I'm going to give you some very specific, concrete strategies on things you can do on Friday. It'll be a little shorter, to get out of that 24-hour day workout without adding more workout. And also little tips that you can use to start to make big changes. And again, these will not be customized to you because everyone is different. These will be generalizations. Some may work for you, some may not. If you would like to know more about what kind of things you can do to start making steps in the right direction. If you are not that woman breezing through with the flat belly and the energy for days, and you would like to become her or go back to being her, hands up, give me a thumbs up, or write yes, I'd like that. And that would be great. I'd love to know your thoughts and where you're at. So speaking of, guys, after this, I'm going to come back live Friday at noon again for part 2, where I will share those concrete tips and tricks. And in the meantime, if you did comment on any of what I discussed today, whether it was live or on the replay, this will be available on the replay, I will reach out to you because I'd like to know where your thoughts are at. And I would really like to know. I'm here to support women. I'm here to share what works. I'm here to share the truth. I'm here to bust that dangerous lie and start to help women like you, like me, go from that place of maybe that lie or what's been holding us back to one that really supports and nurtures and honors us and our path and what we need now more than ever before. This period is different. The amount of rest we need now in our 40s and 50s is even different than the amount of rest we will need in our 70s and 80s, believe it or not. So as more research is done on women in our age group, not 20 and 30-year-old already fit males, which a lot of the research to date has been on, will do what is going to work best for this time in our life. So if you want to optimize your health, if you are here because you want to flatten that belly, guys, the good news is there are things we can do. All right. And all it takes is you being willing to get off that 24-hour day roller coaster and maybe be open to doing things a little differently than you've been doing if what you are doing is no longer working. Okay. So I will reach out to just see where you're at with things and maybe see if there's anywhere that I can help, any questions you have. So if you're watching this on the replay, please type replay live. And if you are watching it live, just type live. Great. Otherwise, I'll see that you're there. And in the meantime, guys, thank you for being part of this group. I will be back Friday at noon with concrete things you can implement to start making big shifts now rather than later. And if you know anyone who would like to join this group that might benefit from it, please, one quick request, please send them the group link. Okay, so if you're in the group, there's like the URL, send them the group link instead of inviting them from the room. The reason being is I need everybody to answer the membership questions for the group. Hi, Kelly. Rather than just joining with an invite. Otherwise, I'll have to send it back to them and ask them to answer the questions anyway. So just please do that if you do. So if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments. I will be here for